Welcome to the diner. I'm going to be previewing the Western Conference for the next year. So there's still people to be picked up, and there's a lot not finished yet. We obviously have some big stuff that happened, such as Kevin Durant to the Warriors, but I'm going to go from 8 to 1. We're going to preview the top 8 teams, or the teams I think will be the top 8. So I'm going to start with the Minnesota Timberwolves. This pick I really struggled with because there's a lot of trajectory they have to go up with. Wiggins needs to make one more jump. Cat was amazing though, but their guard rotation's pretty much set now. They're gonna get consistent minutes out of that spot, and I love the Cole Aldridge pickup from the Clippers. So that shores up their front court depth, which was a problem last year. So as long as Wiggins continues his upward trajectory, Cat improves again, Rubio stays a little bit consistent, maybe finds a jump shot, maybe Dunn's pretty good, then I can see this team being top 8. But there are rumors of Wade going to the Nuggets, so if that happens, I would like the Nuggets in the 8 spot actually. And then the other possible 8 spot would be the Dallas Mavericks, who have Bogut now and Barnes, who is going to get a bigger role. They still have Wesley Matthews, and then you have their Jerome Williams and Barrett and Dirk. But the thing that scares me about the Mavericks is all 5 of their starters are guys that have lower body injury issues, who all have those question marks. So that becomes an issue for them potentially. But Rick Carlisle is one of the top 3 coaches in the NBA. So the Mavericks will always be scary, and they do have smart veteran players. So I think the 8 spot will be a fight between the Timberwolves and Mavericks most likely. And if the Nuggets get Wade, maybe they get in the mix too. So for the 7th spot now, I have the Trailblazers. They added Evan Turner. They pretty much kept the rest of the band together. So you have Damian, you have CJ McCollum, and you have Evan Turner. And that's going to be an okay rotation right there. They're going to score points, maybe not always consistently, but they're going to score. And I still want a better front court. I really wanted to see Whiteside go there. I wanted to see Dwight go there. I thought that would have been a lot of fun. But their differential last year was about 0.8, I think. So they're going to be pretty good. They're going to be a pretty good team. I think they dropped down a little bit because I don't think they're better than the next 6 teams I have. So well, let's see. 8 spot is, you know what? The reason I have the Timberwolves at 8 and the Trailblazers at 6 is mainly because the Trailblazers at 7 is because I have the Thunder at 6. But there's a lot of issues with having them at 6 because there's already confirmed reports, not confirmed, but there's already reports that Westbrook most likely isn't going to re-sign there. And if that happens, they will trade him midseason. Most likely, maybe they won't. But if they don't trade him, then I think they're the 6th best team in the West. They still have Adams, they still have Canners, they have Oladipo, Westbrook. That's a productive team. They're not going to be bad. But I could see them blowing it up. They've already proven they're not afraid to trade players. So they're really interesting. But, and you know, they have Ilyasova too. So, like, they can do stuff. They're not going to be useless. They're not going to be a rollover team. But it's tough to predict them as higher or lower because they're probably not finished making moves. So we'll see what happens. Now, my number 5 team in the West is the Utah Jazz. I see the Rockets dropping out completely. So the Jazz had one of the best three interior defense in the league last year, and their biggest issue last year was production from the guard position. And they fixed that. They got George Hill. And now they just picked up Diaw from the Spurs. And I really like both of those moves. They had a differential of 1.8 last year. It was actually higher than the Blazers last year. And they really just suffered from inconsistent backcourt play. Lots of turnovers. But with Gobert and George Hill and Diaw and all of that jazz, they're going to be good. They're going to be a really good team. They're going to be really elite defensively. They're still going to be a little bit inconsistent on offense. George Hill doesn't fix the consistency of their offense, but it's better. They have someone who can run the point now, and that's going to be really nice to see from them. So I'm looking forward to the Jazz. I'm going to watch them a lot. I'm definitely going to watch the Jazz a lot. Maybe not more than the Timberwolves, but I'm really looking forward to the Jazz. Now the Grizzlies, their biggest thing this year will be that they're getting their team back, and they get Parsons. So basically half their team died. Well, more than half. Everyone. I mean, they broke the record for the amount of roster spots used in making the playoffs, so that's fun. They obviously lost their head coach to the Magic, so that's going to be interesting to see how they respond to that. But Gasol, Conley, Parsons, Zebo, that should be good for a top four finish in the West. I don't see how they couldn't finish top four in the West. They finished pretty high last year, they finished. They finished as a 7th seed, so that's not too bad for how fucked everything got. Now we have the Spurs. The Spurs added Pau Gasol, obviously, but now they've lost Duncan, Diaw, and David West. And so it's basically you switch Pau in for David West. Pau's a bit better right now, so that's an improvement. But losing Duncan and Diaw really hurts their defense. You lose a lot of flexibility on defense, and they're going to lose a lot of interior defense, which is going to hurt them. But they should still finish at least in the 3rd spot, and they should finish around where the Clippers finish. So I like the Spurs team. I like Popovich, Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge, Parker, Ginobili. They're going to be okay, and they're going to probably retool the next year. I don't see how they can contend with the Warriors this year unless I don't see unless they make a I don't know. Maybe they trade for Westbrook. Westbrook's on the trading block. So I think that would fix a lot of the Spurs' perimeter defensive issues. And it would be fun. Now, I want the Clippers as a 2 seed. I have them as a 2 seed. They lost Jeff Green. That's not a big loss. Jeff Green's not very good. He's super inconsistent. And he's just generally, he has more bad games than good games. I don't like the Cole Aldridge loss, but they still have the 2nd best point guard in the league. They still have Blake Griffin. They still have DeAndre Jordan. They still have Redick. This team will probably be in the 2 or 3rd spot in the West. They're clearly in the elite West. And with the Thunder basically not a contender anymore, they have a really, really good chance of going to the Western Conference Finals and playing the Warriors. Now, the Warriors are obviously the best team in the West. They just added Kevin Durant. They added Zaza. And they added David West. But let's talk about their losses. They lost Spates. They're going to lose Festus. They're going to lose Barnes. They're going to lose Barbosa. And Bogut's been traded. So it's not the 73-win Warriors added Durant. It's the Warriors without Spates, Festus, Barnes, Barbosa, and Bogut added Durant. So I don't think they can win 73 games again. But the reality is they have to guard Curry. They have to guard Durant. When I say they, I mean other teams. So Clay, You have to obviously guard fucking, and then you have Iguodala and Livingston coming off the bench. So Curry, Clay, Iguodala, and Draymond Green. I can't believe I kept forgetting Draymond Green's name, but that's pretty impossible lineup on paper. Maybe stuff happens, maybe it doesn't gel right away, but realistically, this team will probably win the title. And it's scary how good they look on paper. It's scary how good the Warriors look on paper, especially with Iguodala and Livingston coming off the bench. This is still a 10-man team. I could see this team realistically going 16-0 in the playoffs. Not realistically, like I wouldn't expect it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they go 16-0 in the playoffs. So, yeah, man, it just seems like all the West is playing for second place. I don't see how I can only see injuries derailing this Warriors season next year, or just fucking random ass bullshit. Because you know how sports are. Sports random nonsense happens all the time, and it's been happening forever. So, yeah, that's my West preview. To sum it up, it's the Timberwolves, Trailblazers, Thunder with the conditional Westbrook trade, Jazz, Grizzlies, Spurs, Clippers, and Warriors. This is the Diner checking in with you, and this is July 5th, 2016. Thanks for tuning in, guys.